Hey guys, how are we doing? Welcome to video 3. So today we're looking at physical health for high performance. So just a quick recap on the first two videos. First video we looked at very much what is high performance, why is it important, how do we move away from this average mentality of being in chaos, frustrated and anxiety, and how we're trying to get to control, progression and clarity, and understand then what that meant and where high performance was. And then we looked at mastering our mindset, right? So we looked at growth versus fixed mentality, and how the growth mentality is what we needed to adapt, okay, to fuel the high performance to move us into that elite operator status. This is where life becomes a little more fun, a little bit more controlled, a little bit more fulfilling and progressive. And we need that growth mindset and we need to fuel it. And that's why we're going to go into physical health and how that can be the fuel to inject the growth mindset, to inject the high performance, okay? Just to recap, my name is James Bourman. I'm a former Royal Marine Commando. I'm now working with men to achieve high performing status within their own life, within their relationships, how they show up to lead themselves, to lead those around them. So I remember working with Mark, and Mark was one of my clients who was CEO of a company, and there was a lot of demands on him, as you can imagine, of any CEO. And he was here. This is who he was right now. In amongst the chaos, there was no structure, there was no routine, there was no system, no management of time, energy or focus. And one of the things that we needed to do with him is raise his standards and his discipline. And the first thing we did was went through what I showed you, which was mastering the mindset, was looking at the growth and fixed mindset, and then getting him to realize that we needed to shift to this growth mentality. But he was about 2.5 stone overweight. His nutrition, his sleep was terrible, his stress management was non-existent, and he just wasn't exercising because he didn't have time, because there was loads of other things going on and he was getting consumed with that. Now, one of the next factors that we worked on when we worked together was building this physical conditioning, this physical health, so that he could be in more control of what was happening with his life, and we can move away from this dude and be this dude here. So we implemented exercise routines and structures. We put into structure and routine sleep patterns for good sleep patterns, going to bed at night, getting up in the morning routines. We introduced stress management coping mechanisms to help him manage all of the stress that came with his job. And it's really important that we understand that this doesn't happen overnight, but this is a process where we slowly, with marginal gains at 1%, slowly increase the way that we show up, and we change the attitude to become a high performer rather than the average performer. And I often get this a lot from guys. I've had a couple of guys ask me the questions, but I'm really busy, I've just got no time, work's completely full on. All of the same narratives and stories that a lot of guys tell themselves. But like I've said all the way through these videos and these series, is that you have to change that narrative. If you're in that state, this is the ideal blueprint or solution to not having enough time, to having an imbalance of your work-life balance, to not training, to not connecting with your wife, or being on your phone all of the time. That is the time to step up and go, I need to change this, because for many men, they won't, and they haven't, and they will go through life and it will just be chaos, frustration and anxiety, and we've got to change that. So let's have a look at the physical health for high performance. So there's 4 key areas, components if you like, for this. One is it's going to give us the energy levels that we need to be a high performer. Okay, so managing the energy, and that comes with managing your time, managing your plans, managing your vision. Stress management. You cannot be a high performer if you're constantly stressed, frustrated and anxious all the time, right? We need to handle that stress. We are going to come up against stress. That's life, work, relationships, things that are happening externally. We need to be able to compose ourselves and manage ourselves. Sleep. Get into good sleeping patterns, not staying up watching Netflix all night, not drinking alcohol during the week, managing your caffeine, getting into a good routine, getting off your phone in the evening. And then self-confidence, building that self-confidence, okay? So in order to do these, become the high performer, we want to look at introducing exercise, introducing nutrition, introducing good sleeping patterns, and introducing those coping mechanisms that we've spoken about. Now, exercise is standard. One of the things that I always say is if you can't manage 3 20-minute sessions a week, which is 1 hour out of 168 hours, you're really in trouble. Because if you did 1 hour a week minimum for the rest of your life, that would make a difference to your your cardiovascular, the way that you looked, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, and it will really make a difference. So all we really need is just to make sure that we're managing our time effectively, that we're building structure, that we're planning in the workouts, that we're ahead of the game, rather than thinking, I'm just going to go to the gym at the end of the day. Okay, it's not substantial enough. Nutrition, making sure we're hydrated, making sure we're staying away from the sugars, making sure we're staying away from the cakes and the takeaways and the quick easy options because we haven't planned ahead with our meals. It's all possible. I often always get, oh, but I'm so busy, work's dragging me this way, work's dragging me that way. It doesn't take a lot just to make a packed lunch for the next day. It doesn't take a lot to carry around a 2-litre water bottle to make sure you're constantly hydrated. It's just effort. It's just the story that we need to change and the narrative. And as soon as we get the nutrition and exercise right, it's the fuel to build the growth mindset, to build the high performance. And then sleep is just a change of patterns and habits. Okay, changing patterns and habits and routines is essential to making sure that you get the sleep that you need to have the growth mindset to be the high performer. And then the stress management we've spoken about already. Okay, so like meditation, yoga, activity in the morning, going for a walk, morning routine, stuff to keep us calm, collected, and efficient. So what we've gone through so far is introducing the high performance, what it is. We've gone through mastering the mindset, and now we've looked at the components of physical health that's required for high performance activity to become this elite operator, to get the control, the progression, and the clarity. Now, this is something that we produce within our high performance accelerator program. These are some of the components and modules that we will work on, that you will work on to get you to being this person here. We're moving away from this guy and we're moving towards this guy. And that's where a lot of the training and exercise will come in. In the next video, I'm going to talk about career success for high performance, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the modules that are going to help you for those that are needing to move through this blueprint to the other side, and what we need to do and what you need to do to be this guy. So in the next video, we're going to talk about how career success will help you for high performance, and we'll talk a little bit more about the opportunities to be able to get involved in something like this and what it would take to move from this guy to this guy, what the modules look like, okay, and what that journey will entail, so that you can visualize that journey for yourself and start making the changes that you really need to. I'll see you in the next video. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this video in the comments directly below. I'll see you in that comment box, and I'll get back to all of you as soon as I can.